What's going on YouTube? It's Brazen back here with another video for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys want to hit a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here, and leave a comment letting me know you subscribe so I can welcome you to the family. And that being said, cue intro. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Madden 20 video for you guys. Here today, we're going to be doing a MUT 20 tier list maker. I don't know who actually made this tier list, but I do know that I got it from Xerxes. He had the link to it, so shout out to him for doing this video and basically going over everything. So I'm basically going to do it myself, go through all of them. I didn't watch his full video because I didn't want to cloud my judgment, you know, and take like his opinions and try to make it my own, because sometimes you do that when you watch someone else's video. It just falls into the back of your head, right? So I wanted to be my honest opinion, so I didn't watch the full video because I did want to get into this. I will say some of these promos are a little confusing on what they actually are, so I will have to kind of, you know, go by what I know. Most of them I know. I think a couple of them I'm a little confused on, but we'll see if we can get through it and if I could put the pieces together. So first off, we got Blitz. Now I'm going to move Blitz into Solid to start it. The reason I really liked Blitz is I like the idea of having promos, you know, not promos, but new offers every 3 hours, right? Where if you want to play every 3 hours all weekend, you can go ahead and get like a lot more points to unlock more cards, things like that. So I actually really had fun in that, you know, regard. Now next up is Color Smash, and it's really in between Solid and Good Enough, right? For now I am going to put it on Solid. I could always move these around in my opinion, but the reason I really liked Color Smash is their eggs were decent. They also had good cards, right? The Ed Reed came out. Was Color Smash Barry Sanders? Was it the Barry Sanders? But I know you could complete the sets and still make coins off of it. And I like promos that come out with coin making methods, especially. Their solo challenges were very easy to do for the most part. So I personally had decent amount of fun with that. So NFL Combine, I'm going to put this in the meh. And the only thing that I truly liked from NFL Combine was, you know, the sets. But they still weren't very good, right? They were only good for a little limited amount of time. DK Metcalf had a great card for the NFL Combine, but personally, that 95 overall, how you did the challenges and you got these things for him, I think it was kind of a waste. I don't really care for cards that are just like random, that they don't actually give any, I don't want to say thought, but they don't really use it later in the year, right? Metcalf really got no love besides that. So personally, I'm not a huge fan. I will say, next up, MUT Draft, or not MUT Draft, but Draft Class 20. I don't know what they're calling it, NFL Draft promo. But I really like this promo, actually. I think they had really great cards. They gave us a lot of diversity, and it also brings in the new rookies. So I only got David DeCastro because that was the only Steeler I needed. There was also a Bud Dupree I could have got, but there's so many Steeler outside linebackers. But we had, what was it, 32 choices of the 97 overall. I think it was 97s, and then they also had some 98, 99s with the Cam Newton, and then the Von Miller. I don't know if he was 97 or 98, but I know there was very good cards. And then also we did get the new cards with Joe Burrow, Chase Youngs, things like that. That were also very high overalls. And I also like their sets, that they basically gave us a free one, and we were able to work towards getting some of those free players. In my opinion, I like those types of promos. So next up, I'm going to put Fan Appreciation. I think it was good enough, but I don't think Fan Appreciation is that valuable in my opinion. You know, I know they try to give us these Fan Appreciation packs, which to be honest sucked. You know, honestly, it could almost go in the meh. Solo challenges, whatever. They try to say it's Fan Appreciation, but honestly, I think it was just another way to throw in a random promo. I didn't really enjoy it that much, so not really much to say there. Next up is in the trash category, and I'm just going to throw both of them in there for basically the same reason. Football Outsiders and Flashbacks. Personally, I think those are very washed promos. I don't think we need them anymore. I think they need to switch them out and actually do viable options. Flashbacks were really cool, and sometimes they drop like one good card, but so many of the flashbacks are pretty useless. And not to mention that people don't end up even caring about the flashback, right? Unless it's really going to benefit their team. No one cares if you throw in like an 87 flashback corner that no one's using, right? So that's my personal opinion. Now, in the greatness, I have free agency promo. Now, I think free agency promo is definitely one of the best promos of the year. I think They had great coin making methods. They had a lot of great cards in it. And also the solo challenges were mildly fun as well. Solo challenges for me, when I'm grinding a promo, I like harder solo challenges. I wouldn't say that free agency was, the hardest, but at least a lot of them were quick, right? The ones I hate are like full games, things like that, because they're easy to beat, but they just take forever. But free agency, I think, was great all around. I still have 3 of them on my game, or on my team that are the end game team. So personally, I'm pretty happy with that. Next up is going to be Gauntlet, and this is going to be in greatness as well. If you guys know me very well, you guys know that I actually love Gauntlet. I love their challenges. They're by far my favorite. Obviously, Gauntlet 3, the full game one that time wasn't running. That one, I will say, is definitely one of my least favorite challenges, but Gauntlet in general are always one of my favorite challenges, because if you're very skilled, a lot of times you can do it very fast, but if you're not great, it takes you forever, or you still might not even be able to do it. And I love those types of things, because I don't believe that everyone should be able to beat every solo challenge to the max capability. In my personal opinion, I think you should be able to do it over time, but I think there should be more rewards for someone that's able to do it faster or do it better, whatever the case is. So I personally like it. Now, Golden Ticket, I'm moving to good enough. And the reason I have Golden Ticket in good enough is just because it's just that. It's good enough, right? People, once again, I think Golden Tickets were very hyped early in the year. Not early in the year, but early in the Madden realm of years, right? So I think the first couple years that Golden Tickets were coming out, it was amazing. People loved it. Now, it's great that they're letting people choose the Golden Tickets, right? But I just think it's so late into the game, right? We're already kind of looking towards Madden 21 at that point, so I don't really ever get that hyped for it. Now, moving on is Harvest, and I'm going to put this in good enough for a couple of reasons. One, I like the idea of having the Thanksgiving players actually maybe move up a couple tiers based off of how good they do. Now, I personally think that it could be a lot better. That's why I put it in the good enough. I don't think it was great, and a lot of times the choices aren't amazing, but it is only players that play on Thanksgiving, so you don't always get a lot of good choices. I think they had Dak this year, TJ Hawkinson, I think they had Darius Slay or something like that. They had a couple choices, but I do think it's a mediocre promo. It's never one of my favorites, but I do like the early game Madden, so it is at least decent. Now, heavyweights, I will put at meh. And the reason I have heavyweights at meh, in my opinion, it's a little bit better than the flashbacks and the full battle sliders, because they're at least somewhat useful, in my opinion. Some of the heavyweights are pretty useful for at least a small period of time. And then you can use some of their better cards, because they all are linemen, fullbacks, things like that. I personally don't like flashbacks and football sliders, and I like heavyweights just a little bit more, so I didn't want to put it in the same category. So right here we got NFL honors. Once again, I think it's good enough. Actually, I would put it in solid. Let's put it in solid, because football or NFL honors, there's not much you can do. I like NFL honors, but there's not much you can do. Like I said, if someone like Michael Thomas gets an honors, right, whatever the case is, or if Lamar wins MVP, there's no choices, right? Lamar won MVP. He's getting the MVP card. It's not up for debate, right? So personally, I liked honors. I don't think it's the best promo of the year, but I do think it's pretty solid. Now, next up is Journey. This comes in the trash. Journey is hot garbage. If anyone knows me, you know I hate Journey. They basically give us a Journey early in the game that gives us 25 training for rewards, like 10,000 coins and some gold packs, right? For full games. Journey takes probably the longest promos to complete throughout the year, right? And probably the least amount of awards. And then people say, well, if you complete all 4 of them, you get, Golden Ticket or whatever the case they're giving you, right? That's great. I don't feel like spending 10 hours to go ahead and complete all of them for them to give me a card in June when the next game comes out in August, right? So for my opinion, Journey doesn't need to be in the game. I think it's terrible. So that's just my personal opinion. So next up is Legends. Now, I think Legends is pretty solid. I personally like Legends promo for what it stands for. I do think it still can use some diversity. I feel like, the issue that we run into is there's players that still come out, right? Like Marcus Allen. that was so cheesy. And if you wanted to buy him right away, that's great. You can use them. But then a week later, another running back comes out and you're pretty much either stuck with them. In Legends, the way they do it, sometimes there might not be another running back for months for Legends, or sometimes they put a running back out the next week. That's useless, right? So, and then towards the end, they also ran out of ideas because they were doing Bobby Wagner and Aaron Rodgers. I think that was kind of a waste as well, my personal opinion. So, this is one of the ones that I'm a little confused on. Is this level challenges, or is this series? I don't believe it's series redux, because I don't see why we would have a series redux. I pretty much know the rest of them. Like I said, this is probably the only one I don't know. So I'm probably going to come back to it towards the end. I'll probably load up Madden and then just come back to it at the end so I can see what it is. I don't know why I think this is level challenges, but I don't think that is what it is. So right here, though, we got most feared. Now I'm going to put this in solid. The only reason I don't have most feared in greatness is because of the fact that I didn't like their sets. I don't like sets that are pretty much undoable, right? And what I mean by that is once most feared promo was over, you pretty much couldn't complete the sets, right? Like I did the math, and Cam Newton, you made like 150K doing it, but it was going to take you like 4 hours to do it, right? Because you had to keep buying these get a player packs and then creating one of those things that you had to put in them, like the collectibles, and you needed like 80 of them. You had to do that 5 times, whatever the case was. It was ridiculous. And personally, I just don't like the sets being that long. So I think that's the only thing that holds most feared back. But I love the idea of most feared. Gives us some cards that are pretty decent. And then obviously for like those 2 days, they get ridiculous. So I really like that promo. Now, next up is the 10-year anniversary. And the reason I'm putting this in greatness is I do think that it did play like to the strength of what Madden has been, and to showcasing the players that everyone loves. I do think they could have done a better job on the statistics on those players, but also I understand they were trying to keep them from being OP, so that is the case. Now next up is MUT Heroes, and I'm also going to put this in greatness. I love the solo challenges. I love the idea of giving us riddles and things like that, because that actually makes the solo challenges harder, like we were talking about. So personally, I like that. The players also very good, and it also gave us great coins throughout the whole year, in my opinion, because pretty much almost all year MUT Heroes was at least viable, at least for a lot of the year. So now next up is the all-time team NFL 100. I will put this in solid, and the reason I'm going to put it in solid is they're very easy solo challenges. My eye is like killing me today. There's very easy solo challenges. The sets were doable. The players were very great. The only issue I had with the NFL 100 promo is literally the fact that they gave us Eric Dickerson's ridiculous ability, Randy Moss's ridiculous ability. And so for me, that kind of killed it a little bit, because when you're giving someone like Randy Moss unlimited catches past 55 yards and break the game, it was just horrible in my opinion, and it kind of ruined the game for a lot of people. I know a lot of people personally that stopped playing the game at that time, so I'm gonna say that it's solid just for that reason. Now I did load it up, and it looks like this is level challenges, so I was right. I don't know why. I don't know what else it could have been, to be completely honest with you, but it is level challenges from what I loaded up Madden on the side so that I could go ahead and see it, and it does look like it is level challenges, like I said. So level challenges I think are good enough, right? You can only do so many level challenges. Personally, I think there should be a little bit more, or like not more levels, but like more reward, but maybe make them a little bit harder. I don't know, something like that. But I mean, they're level challenges, right? They just give you coins for playing quick games for leveling up. Not the worst promo. I think it was good enough. NFL playoffs, personally, I think is meh. I'm not a huge fan of NFL playoffs, if I could be completely honest. I just think that it's not really that useful. I think it could be a lot better. I think that it's not the way that they do the promo, but it's just the way like the sets are. And I mean, I still personally think these promos that come out with 85 overall cards in I guess playoffs would have been like January, February, but I still think that's too late to be coming out with 85 overall cards. It's pretty useless, right? Especially when the cards aren't usable. If you want to give me a card that's an 85 overall that I could actually use, great. But I don't want a card that I can't even use. And I think the reward they gave us for solo challenges were like an 89, so it really wasn't that great. Now, power up expansion, I put in the trash for one main reason. I personally do not like the power up expansion because I think it's lazy. I think they forgot about a bunch of players all year, and they said, let's just make this, call it the power-up expansion. Every week, give players all these power-up cards and give these players boosts to their overalls. I like the idea that they did that in the fact that a lot of these players wouldn't have had upgrades. Like, for instance, Triple Malu, he probably wouldn't have gotten an upgrade. I think it's lazy because they didn't calculate their year right. You know, they brought out Triple Malu Ultimate Legend 96 and then realized, dang, he still needs another upgrade to beat Endgame. So I think they screwed up there, in my opinion. So that's why I have it so low. Rookie Premier, I'm putting this up in greatness. The reason I have Rookie Premier in greatness, in my opinion, is because I think the packs were good, right? You could at least buy good players, or the packs you could buy for 25,000. You could complete the sets and still make coins. So I thought that was great. The packs were pretty good, in my opinion. Rookie Premier, always a great promo as long as they keep it pretty straightforward, which I think they did. They gave us like 2 free players if you're on the Madden rewards and things like that, and you did the solo challenges. So I think it's pretty great, in my opinion. Right here, I believe this is the series, not the Redux, but I think these are the signature series. I think signature series are pretty meh. Sometimes they do come out with good cards, but they're limited time cards, right? And then they series Redux them. So not only do I not really care for series Redux, but these signature series, sometimes they come out with like a McCaffrey with like 89 speed, but he's like 400k because he's a limited time. It doesn't really make a lot of sense sometimes with the way they do it. So I personally think that's not a great promo. I think it definitely could do some work in the next year. Now, I will say that I don't know what promo this is, and someone might be able to tell me. What is it? EA Plays, right? I've looked through the solo challenges and I don't see anything. I don't really know what that promo is, if I'm being completely honest. So I think it's that EA Plays, but I don't remember anything about it because I couldn't find it in the game or anything like that. So we will move on to Super Bowl. Now, Super Bowl, I think, good enough. I think they gave us some good cards on both teams. I think they gave us MVP Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes, which is a good card. I like that being the first 99 of the year, whoever the Super Bowl MVP is. And I think the Tyreek, Sammy Watkins, who else they gave us? Mitchell Schwartz. And then the 49ers was like Mostert, Sherman maybe. They gave us some pretty good cards. So I personally like that. Now, solid, I'm actually going to put, superstars I'm actually going to put in solid because I actually think it's a pretty good promo in my opinion. Because I like the idea. Early in the year, it made sense, right? Where I got the MUT Superstar Patrick Mahomes for free, and I was like, okay, let me not power him up and waste all the coins because he comes with abilities. I like that idea of, hey, you don't have to power someone up to have abilities. You just have to power him up to boost his stats a little bit more. I like that idea because I think it makes it a lot easier on people that are no money spent to be able to buy, sell cards a lot quicker rather than having to power up and spend double or triple the coins just to power that player up to put abilities. So I liked MUT Superstars. Right here, we got good enough, and we're going to put the MUT Captain. I personally like MUT Captain for what it is. I think that there's not much they can do to it. It's made to be, right, like just a free way to give us coins. So I think it's good. I think it's definitely good enough. I don't think it's anything crazy. So Theme Builder 2s, or is this Theme Diamond 2 or Theme Builder 2? I don't know. It's either Theme Builder 2, Theme Diamond 2. Either way, I really like the promo. Theme Builders and Theme Diamonds, honestly, were both, actually, I think this is Theme Diamond. So we're going to put both of them up here. I think this is Theme Builder too. But I personally like these promos. I like the idea of giving those like double chems towards a team. And they also give you some pretty good players. Unless you're the Dolphins and you got a kicker and then Ryan Tannehill in those promos. I really like the Night Train Lane Ultimate set, which is the Theme Diamond. And then Theme Builders, we're all getting those 97s, 95s, 93s. I like the idea of giving us players like that are for the team because they're still useful, right? Like, yeah, they gave me like a 93 overall kicker, but for Steelers, I was using the gold kicker because Boswell didn't get any upgrade. So that's actually a huge upgrade, even though he's not going to be a 99. Something like a kicker doesn't have to be. And if they do it correctly, they actually choose players for certain promos that, like I said, positions that don't have players on that team. So kicker and punter, even though they only gave me an 85 punter for Steelers, it made sense because they didn't have an elite punter. So I think that's pretty great. Team of the week, I say it's meh. And I really like some of the Team of the Week players that they put out, the ones that are the heroes. The issue I have with Team of the Week is the sets a lot of times suck. They were at least decent coin making methods at times this year, but the sets a lot of the time suck, besides sometimes if there's coins. And then on top of it, all the lower overall cards, once again, no one cares about the 79 overall Team of the Week card that's useless, right? Just to put it into the set. I would rather you give us a 90, 91 hero, and then a couple cards you have to put into the set, right? Or whatever the case is. I personally don't like the way they do the set. So, personally, I have it there. Now, I think Team of the Year is a solid one, in my opinion. I think Team of the Year gives us some pretty good choices on cards because they come out with a lot of players. The sets were very simple to complete. And the solo challenges were fun and doable, very quick to do. So, I like that promo. Ultimate Trainers, I would say good enough. It was the first promo. It's the first thing you do when you start the game up, basically, to get a free 85 overall player. It teaches you about the game, powering up, all these different things, right? I personally like Ultimate Trainers for what it is. You know, it's not going to be the greatest promo in the world, but I personally do like it. Ultimate Legends, I put in the meh category. And the reason is, I like some of the Ultimate Legends cards, but personally, I think that, once again, it's one of those promos that for me is a little bit outdated. You know, for myself, I've been playing since MUT 25, so I've pretty much played almost since the beginning of MUT, right? I played a little bit in like Madden 12, but I didn't really take it serious. I played like a couple of games here and there, but Madden 25 was where I really tried to grind MUT, and they didn't have as many great promos. They sometimes had Ultimate Legends and these different types of promos with different names, but now they're just getting stagnant with it, and they're just continuing to do it thinking that everyone wants it every year, which is great, but it's also very lazy because we already know which Ultimate Legends we're going to get. We're going to get the Lawrence T's, we're going to get the Randy Mosses, and then everyone's using the same end game, and I personally don't like it. I would much rather have an end game where everyone has different cards. Now, Veteran, putting in trash, once again, no, I don't know who likes Veteran. Same thing as Football Outsiders and Flashbacks, just completely outdated in my opinion. We don't need it anymore. Give us a better promo. And then in the meh is going to be Zero Chill. Now, personally, there was some decent cards in this promo. That's the only thing that saves it for me. Solo challenges were meh. I did not like the presents. I personally think presents should not be able to be bought with like training currency and things like that. It should only be able to be bought with like luck, or like not luck, but the challenges, right? Beating it like that and things like that. So that's my personal opinion. The reason it's at meh as well is I didn't really like a lot of the cards. The Julio was decent. The Mike Vick card kind of sucked. I did use it for a long time because that's what the Steelers had, but it did kind of suck. And, you know, not all the cards. Patrick Willis was pretty good, but overall, I didn't really care for like the out of positions and things like that. So, like I said, I don't really know what this one is. I think it's EA Plays, but I literally cannot remember what it is, and it's not in the game anymore, at least from what I know. So, I'm not going to do that, but this is pretty much my list. Let me know what you guys think. I will put the link of how to do it in the description so that way you guys can see it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, drop a like, comment your guys' list down below, and let me know what you guys think, or at least like your top 5 promos, things like that. Subscribe and turn on that post notification bell. And as always, I will see you guys next time.